Hi, this is Ross Newton, and this is my personal development interview. So, question number one is, can you briefly talk me through the content of your portfolio? So, through my portfolio, I basically discuss how to CV write, there's cover letters on there, also how to write them. I also talked about the layout of how you do them, like how to set them up, etc. The skill mapping involved, which is basically is for like employers who you get to see how good you are at certain skills and what you can improve on, or little things like that. We also had little diagnostic tests, so it was personal tests we took, which found out our personality, and that would give us a reading of how good we are, or just like certain levels of it. I also done covered different certificates I achieved, so certain ones such as this girl can, like the getting inclusion in girls in sport, which was a certificate that I learned a lot from, because I didn't realise how many organisations there was to actually get more girls into sport. And there was another one of getting disability people in sport, or people with impairment, um, getting them included within other sports such as like football or tennis or whatever, and how to include them without making them feel left out. Um, and that was basically my portfolio. Question two is, can you analyse and reflect on what you've learned throughout the professional development module this year? So what I've learned this year is from the development is how to actually conduct an interview, and actually how to take part in one. So some of the things I learned was how to come across and how to answer questions in interviews. So one of the main ones was confidence, coming across as confident in the employer. So when you're answering a question or talking to them normally, having the confidence to actually have a conversation and get your words out well, I've seen really helps. And another one is body language, having good body language and dressing well. They all add up to having a good impact on what the employer sees in you, because obviously first impressions is a big thing. So having these three skills, well, I wouldn't say skills, but general um, ideas would be obviously makes your interview a lot easier, and you're more likely to succeed and come across well to the employer. Question number three is, what do you know about skill mapping? So it's a visual representation of skills that are needed so employers see what skills you have. So this basically just says what you're good at right now, and what you're not so good at, and if you can improve on it or not over a certain amount of time. This just basically helps your employer see who you really are and what you're good at and what not really. Question four is, what three characteristics of your personality do you feel make you employable in your chosen industry? So the main three I would say is confidence. I feel like I'm a very confident person when I'm coaching or when I'm speaking to somebody who I don't know. And this just obviously it makes everything a lot easier, and I feel like I can get a lot more things out there with the confidence I have, and I don't feel like I stutter with anybody, or like when I'm coaching, like I feel comfortable around anybody. The second one would be organisation, whether that's being organised with the equipment, or that's being organised on time, or that's just organisation in general. I feel like I've always been set out on what I need to do, having a plan. That's always been my motto. I just feel without a plan, I feel really lost. So having a plan in place and being organised just makes everything so much easier for me. And the final one would be communication, whether that's just communication in general in the classroom setting, obviously since I've applied for teaching assistant, um, or whether that's being outside and talking to anybody. I feel like communicating with anybody in the real world or as a job setting is important, because it helps you get yourself across, and it just makes everything a lot easier being able to feel comfortable with people. So they're the three main characteristics I feel make me employable, because I feel like they're the main three that you really need. Question five is, if you were to review dash reflect on your participation and contribution activities for this module, what comments would you make and why? So it's heavy involvement, so that I can get the most out of it. That was I feel like if I got involved a lot more, because I do, if I get involved more, you get more out of it. So the more you put yourself out there, the more you're gonna learn, and the more you're gonna get from the experience really, which is gonna make me hopefully better as the future goes on, and like also the more and more I do. And number 6, define some realistic goals you have set yourself this year relating to your professional development and career aspirations, and have you achieved them. So this year, like a realistic goal is passing my course this year and getting on my 3rd year for to hopefully get on and kick on. Really. So that's all I want. I want to finish this year and get passed on to the 3rd year so I can graduate. And I feel like if I carry on working hard and I carry on doing my work in time, and I carry on doing the work at the right time and not like at the last minute, so I'm prepared more. I feel like I can get there and I can get a good grade so I can actually go on and do my PGCE in teaching or teaching assistant. And that is one of the goals I've always had. I've always wanted to do PE teaching. So being able to hopefully pass this year will hopefully make it a lot more easier to come and achieve my ultimate goal of doing that job. Excuse me. So question 7 is, what activities have you undertaken in the past 2 years to ensure employment in the chosen industry? Well, I've done a lot of work with Newcastle United Foundation, whether that's in the classroom, teaching healthy eating, sport in general, where I've done that at Bailey Green Primary School and Amberley Primary School. So I was any ages from year 1 to year 6, I've done primary school there. And I feel like being in front of a classroom, like I learned a lot. And even just watching core coaches from Newcastle Foundation, I learned the different ways on how to teach and come across younger children and how to actually get them to listen and how to understand and get them drawn into the lesson so they don't get bored. So that experience there was like really good, and obviously I've had experience in coaching hands-on, whether that's at a primary school at Amberley and Bailey Green, coaching football, tennis, cricket, any sport really, or what I currently do now with coaching a football under 7s team, which I've been doing for a year now. So I think that's obviously good because the industry that I'm in, the sporting industry, I'm doing hands-on experience now, which is hopefully gonna make it easier for the future when I'm applying for jobs or when I am now. That I've got this experience in this industry. So number 8 is, tell me something about current developments and trends with your chosen industry. So obviously since coronavirus is such a big thing at the minute, a lot of things have been online. There's been a lot of online courses such as the FA Level 1. There's been a lot of online courses such as like the disability ones I've participated in, and like how to include them. So I feel like that will be a lot more popular at the minute because we don't know how long this is going to last. We don't know what face-to-face we can do. So I feel like there's going to be more and more online. So I think that is one of the biggest trends at the minute. Online teaching and online learning generally in classrooms. So I think that's one of them. So number 9 is evaluate and analyse a piece of research you have used this year to help understand a certain aspect of sports coaching and education. So a main one for me was taking part in the online learning for the disability coaching. I feel like I learned so much on how to get disabled people and impaired people involved in sports where I never thought they would be able to get involved with. So seeing that way of how they actually did it was just amazing. I didn't like it was just I'll always know how to include people who aren't as lucky as us, I would say, into sport. So yeah, I think that's one of the biggest researches, the biggest aspect I've learned in the past 2 years, I would say. So number 10 is, can you tell me what motivates you, and can you provide an example when you had to motivate others? So a main motivation for me is someone saying, giving us praise, or saying that you've done this really well and something like that. I feel like I've always been someone who's needed that to improve on myself, because I've always had myself down if I'm playing sport and football especially. So if I feel like I'm having a bad game, and I know I'm having a bad game, and someone says, "Oh, you're not doing very well," then I know I'm not doing very well. But when someone says, "Oh, you're having a great game," that motivates me even more to do better. Um, Whereas the same as like if someone says, "Oh, you're having a bad game," then I want to prove them wrong and I want to have a good game. So it's similar with that. So that's what motivates me. And an example of when you have to motivate others, I would say just in general when I'm coaching, if I see someone who is struggling, I'll encourage them first, and if they're still struggling, I'll try and make that session easier. Um, and then once they get the hang of that, then their encouragement and their belief comes back in within themselves, and then they can do the original task I got them to do. So that's when I really motivate people, and hopefully it works for them, which I see normally does. So number 11 is, explain a work situation / project that you have found difficult and had to overcome the situation. Um, I would say when I first started with Newcastle United Foundation, I was we were doing kicks at Walker, and it was a hard situation because it was an under 6-year-old. It was a 6-year-old, I think, and he just came back. I'd let him go to find his friend. He came back with his other friend, and he was smoking, and he came back smelling like smoke, and obviously he had cigarettes on. So that put me in a different situation because I'd never experienced it before. But luckily I had someone there who was like more experienced than me as well to help us sort that situation out, because I didn't really know what to do, whether I should go to the parents or if I take it any further. But luckily there was someone there to help us sort it all out and make it easier for me, obviously. So that would probably be one of the hardest situations I've been in the sport industry. Number 12 is, customer service is essential in our industry. How would you provide an excellent level of customer service? So, in customer service in the sporting industry is obviously the quality of something you're doing. If you're coaching or teaching, then you want your participation. Say if you're the parent and you're letting your child go to a school or in a coaching environment, you want the coaches to be the top. You don't want them being lethargic or lazy. So I would always make sure that I'm as professional as I can be. I'm always working as hard as I can. Always getting the best out of myself and the others. I feel like that would be the main thing. That's probably how I would always try and maintain customer service and having 100% customer satisfaction. If they felt they didn't get the most out of my coaching, or they believe from watching it they didn't get anything from it, then I always try and develop myself as well, how I can become better for next time. So what will working in your chosen industry mean to you? What would you be able to offer a prospective employers? If I managed to get this work in this industry, it would just mean the world, because I've always, as soon as I've been born, I've always lived and breathed sports, and I've always wanted to become a PE teacher or a teaching assistant, anything in that area. So being able to become that would literally be a dream come true, because I've always seen myself as a sporting person and nothing else really. Like I've just lived and breathed sports, whether that's tennis, cricket, football, just anything. And what would you be able to offer prospective employers? I feel like I could offer a lot more hard work, dedication. Obviously I've been a sporting person, so I know what it's like being in sports. So I feel like I'd always be hard working and all that. So that's what basically. Yeah. And finally, how have you personally developed as a result of this course, and how are you going to apply these skills in the future? So the main one that I've developed is literally inclusion. Disabled people, people with impairments, women, how to get them involved. It just thrown me a whole different side of sport that I've never knew, because I've always been involved in sports where it was mainly male dominated. So there's always been a lot of inclusion, and I've never really been around disabled coach sports. So being in around that and seeing what that's like, it's just completely changed my mindset on what it's like, really, like the different ways of doing sport with other people. So that's really changed my mind and just made me think how good sport really is, and getting people from different backgrounds involved. Um, and that's it really. I think that's all the questions. Yeah, that's all. So thanks for taking part in the interview. That's all. Cheers.